Episode 11, Winter Wrap-Up. This episode starts in the early hours of the morning. Twilight eagerly awakens and prepares for something known as the Winter Wrap-Up. This is the day before spring, where every pony in town has to clean up winter. We've seen in previous episodes that the ponies have control over the weather, so it makes sense that they also have control over the seasons. What's interesting is that they state that different locations have different methods of cleaning up winter. In Canterlot, they merely clean it up with magic, but since Ponyville was founded by Earth ponies, they are a lot more hooves-on in their approach. Despite Spike being less than enthusiastic, Twilight is eager to start her day, a little too eager when she discovers she is the only pony who is awake. When the sun has risen, Twilight eagerly joins the other ponies in town. Here, we find out that each pony is assigned to one of 3 teams depending on their speciality. Blue for weather, green for plant, and tan for the animal team. Also, Rarity made the vests, I feel I should mention that. Twilight, however, has yet to be assigned a vest, which kind of becomes the main theme of this episode. In which area will she help with? The mayor of Ponyville, a pun I'm never going to stop loving, is eager to get the winter wrap-up underway and make this the fastest winter wrap-up they've ever had. However, all the other ponies disperse before Twilight has a chance to be assigned to a team. Twilight herself doesn't know where she should go because she's not familiar with how winter wrap-up works in this part of Equestria. This then leads to what I consider the first true musical number of the series. The reason I consider this the first true musical number is because every previous musical number has been sung solely by Pinkie Pie, and other characters viewed it as odd that she was breaking out into song. This is the first time any other major character is singing, and what's great about it is that it involves all the main characters as each of them gets their own solo. For obvious reasons, they're singing about the winter wrap-up and how they intend to complete it. Meanwhile, Twilight is trying to figure out where she fits into this, as she's new to this way of cleaning up winter. The Pegasi clear away the sky to let the sun in, the animal team help bring out the hibernating animals, give them food and fix their homes. Finally, the plant team clear up the snow and start planting seeds. What's really symbolic about this song is that Twilight doesn't really sing along with the rest of them, which adds into the theme of how she doesn't know where she fits in here yet and feels isolated. She even sings about this during the song, especially with regards to how she can help without using her magic. She wants to belong, however, so is eager to do her best. Overall, it's a good song that helps show the joint community of Ponyville and how Twilight, who is still new to the town, feels isolated. Twilight tries to help Rainbow Dash first by offering to help clear the clouds, but then she remembers she's not a Pegasus, so that would make it a bit difficult. I remember as a teenager, this was one of the first scenes that was a bit difficult for me to watch. It does make me wonder why Twilight couldn't help clear the clouds though, because a previous episode showed Trixie being able to manipulate weather, and an episode from Season 3 showed that Rarity was able to manipulate weather, so honestly makes me wonder why Twilight couldn't help clear the clouds. Maybe it's because she'd have to use her magic, which isn't allowed for the Ponyville Winter Wrap-Up. Determined to do her part, Twilight goes to offer her help to Rarity next. Rarity is making nests for the returning birds, and allows Twilight to help make a few. Unfortunately, Twilight isn't as good at this as Rarity is. Spike decides to be mean and says it should either be condemned or used as an outhouse. Rarity offers to help, but it ends up with her just redoing the whole thing on her own. Knowing there won't be much help here, they decide to look elsewhere. They go to see Pinkie next, who is skating on a frozen lake. I have to be honest though, with winter wrapping up, you think this would be very dangerous. Ironically, however, Pinkie's job is actually cutting the ice so that when the weather ponies come, it'll be easier to break away. Pinkie asks Twilight if she'd like to help, but unfortunately Twilight isn't much of a skater. Despite this, Spike gives her a little push, and this unsurprisingly ends up with her crashing into Pinkie. Pinkie tries to sugarcoat Twilight's performance, but even she can't deny Twilight isn't meant for this. Thinking it might be better for Twilight to stay on her hooves, Pinkie suggests she go help Fluttershy, who's working with the little critters. They go to see Fluttershy, who is helping all the animals come out of hibernation. This includes a funny scene of 2 porcupines waking up and hugging each other, which, as you could imagine, doesn't go well. Fluttershy eagerly accepts Twilight's help, and Twilight and Spike start going to some other burrows. Twilight goes to a snake's home first and has the exact same reaction I would. She then runs into a cave full of bats and has another reaction that I would. This causes her to run into a tree as a beehive falls on her. You think I wouldn't need to explain what happens here, but I do, because with the beehive on her head, Twilight runs blindly into a skunk hole. You can imagine how that ended up for her. While giving Twilight a bath in tomato juice, Spike asks why she doesn't just use her magic and do it the easy way, but Twilight says she has to do it the traditional way as Ponyville has never used magic to wrap up winter. Determined to find some way she can help, Twilight goes to Applejack next, who is instructing other ponies on plowing the snow from the fields so they can plant seeds. Twilight again offers to help, but unlike the others, Applejack is a little more hesitant to allow her to help. Twilight tries nonetheless, but as a pony who spends most of her time studying, Twilight isn't really built for this type of physical labor. Then remembering what Spike said, Twilight decides to use magic to help her push the plow. This goes alright for a bit, but then the plow starts moving too fast, which, as you guessed, results in a crash. And an avalanche that sets the plowing back to the start. Oy. Applejack scolds Twilight for this, and Spike the little jerk throws her under the bus. This was a pretty sad moment for me, because we all know that Twilight was just trying to help, and I think we've all faced instances like this. Twilight herself expresses this and runs off upset. Thankfully, Applejack does seem to feel a bit bad about what she said. Spike tries to cheer Twilight up. It fails miserably. Then we see that the three teams are actually having problems because Applejack needs Rainbow Dash and the other Pegasi to melt the ice so they can start farming, but Fluttershy doesn't want her to melt the ice just yet because she is still waking up the critters. This causes an argument because they are unable to decide what they should do first. The mayor of Ponyville then comes in to see what's going on, at which point it's revealed that they have actually consistently been late for spring for many years at this point. This causes more arguing until the mayor asks everyone to stop. Since sundown is approaching, everyone fears that they will be late again, and the mayor expresses that she wishes they were more organized. This allows Twilight to jump into action because she knows this is something she can help with. She gets their attention by using her magic to make a bird whistle very loudly, much to the bird's annoyance, which honestly made me laugh. Using her organization skills, Twilight is able to give everyone directions on how tasks should be completed, allowing everyone to complete their task in a way that satisfies everyone. The nests get made, the ice gets cut appropriately, the fields get plowed and seeds get planted, the animals all awake at appropriate times, but Twilight still reacts how I would to the snakes. And the Pegasi are able to clear the clouds in a time that suits everyone. The animation they use to show the clouds getting cleared is also very cool in my opinion. They are also able to bring the birds back to Ponyville, and they all happily live in their new nests. And with the clouds cleared, the fields are able to be watered. Thanks to Twilight, they are able to wrap up winter on time. And due to helping every pony in Ponyville, Twilight is finally able to find which team she belongs to. All of them, and they give her a vest to represent this with all the team colors. This leads to Twilight's next lesson for Princess Celestia. She expresses how she feels Winter Wrap-Up is one of the most special things she's ever done in Ponyville, as it helped her find out that they all have hidden talents, and that when everyone works together, they can accomplish anything. While I agree with Twilight's message, the biggest takeaway for me from this episode is that when you move to a new town, sometimes it can be very hard to find your place, especially when the traditions there are very different from where you used to live. Twilight definitely seems like an outsider here because she is in a new place with traditions much different to her own in Canterlot. Because of this, she found it difficult to find where she could help, and even though she just wanted to help, she sometimes did more harm than good, which again I think is something we've all experienced before. Thankfully, she was able to find her place by using her talents of organization to help everyone involved. So the biggest lesson for me is to never give up in trying to find where you fit in, where you belong, and how you can help. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next review.